Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video, and so far as you've noticed, I've been consistent with making duel videos because I have the time to showcase what I'm using. This one should not be a long duel because if you might look at it as a great hand, but when I draw into my next card, it's going to be a brick. But this should be something interesting because I am playing against a Dark Magician deck. Although we don't see Dark Magician too often because of the strategy I utilized against my opponent, especially with the number of hand traps I have in hand. Since my opponent's going first, I wait for the right moment to chain to one of his cards in order to disrupt the flow of his field as well as card effects. So that if he has anything on field that can tribute, special summon, or get him access to a card from the deck, that's something that I immediately got to pause and disrupt. Because I'm going to stop him in his tracks before he can get to his key cards, as well as preventing me from actually utilizing my cards. So whether he plans to disrupt my cards or whether he plans to negate my cards. So I'm not giving him any opportunity whatsoever. I'm not letting him cut back. I'm not giving him a break. I'm ensuring that he doesn't get to his key card so that he doesn't try to blow over and try to take over the stool. And what I mean by blow over is make it so that he gets access to the cards and then prevent me from playing, where I'm gonna have a rough time trying to basically compete with him, as well as trying to find a way around his cards. Because like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh is a game where it's the best way to win is if you go first and prevent the player from actually doing anything or kill them on the first turn. Because Omni Negates definitely are the issue, as well as tons of draw power, special summons, especially when this is the worst hand I have right now. I can't even use Soul's Effect to send for draw, but I can with the Kashtira Ogre because I'm going to search my traps. This is a control no monsters. I can special summon it for free. But this just has to be the most disappointing hand ever. If you look at it right now, what can you do with literally 2 or 3 bricks in hand that possibly can get you as I should be lucky that I drew into 2 hand traps. And for some people that are saying why I'm even playing 60 cards, it's so I can avoid seeing the bricks when I draw into my hand 5 or 6 cards. I want to make sure that that it reduces the odds of seeing my bricks a lot more often. So because a lot of times I'll use my brick. The only reason I use the bricks is to keep them in my deck, and I can send them off from my deck to the grave using another card, whether it's a special summon or a draw. And that's with any to be real, it's mainly special summon from the extra deck or special summon from your hand. For example, Magician Souls. And obviously I'm gonna Magnamut his Dark Magician Girl to get rid of whatever goal he's looking for by setting Dark Magician Girl or Dark Magician in his graveyard, because chances are he's going to use Eternal Soul or Soul Servant to draw a bunch of cards, depending on the number of marked Dark Magicians, including Dark Magician Girl in his grave. So I want to prevent that from happening. So I'll use Ogre's Effect. He might be a little bit slow. I think he's just confused. I confirmed that I'm using its effect. He has to excavate the top cards. So possibly his computer could be lagging, but I'm letting him know that I am going to use the effect of Ogre. Unless he has a response, then I might as well let him proceed and let him go with it. And I have to pretty much respond and say yes if he does have a response. But if he does, I can also be able to chain, especially if a card that can pretty much says in the card text whether I have the advantage to pretty much declare the activation. I have to let my opponent know after he activates the card effect in order for a chain to resolve. So for sure, like I said, I'm planning to banish his Soul Servant. I'm not taking a chance with this card because allowing him to place 1 card top of his deck, although whether it mentions Dark Magician Girl, whatever, whatever that may be, even though it doesn't include Soul Servant, it's the fact that he's allowed to draw a bunch of cards reading its effect. Palladium, Dark Magician, Dark Mystical with different names. So he could possibly draw 3 cards. So banishing was definitely the right call. And although he was supposed to be Spanish face down, the reason I wanted to keep it face up, I should have reminded him, so I can actually be able to like explain the card text to you guys, explain how the cards work, and be able to make you understand why I try to get rid of that certain card, whether it's by card effect or prevent him from actually using it, depending on the cards that are on the field or the ones that I'm utilizing right now. And during this duel, I'm going to go straight into a link 2, just in case. So IPU is definitely the smart move. So if he tries to do anything funny, I can either possibly go and I can link off during his turn, whether it may be whatever you'll see in Max. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So he's going to normal summon Rod. In response, I'm going to chain with Ogre. Pretty much same result. Excavate the top 5 cards, and I banish one of them. And then they go in the same order back into the top. So, for those who don't know how chain works, if an opponent chains, the opponent that chains with the card effect actually resolves first, rather than the player who activated their card first, because you're letting them know that you immediately have response. So the moment the person declares they have a response, they get to activate their card effect first. That's how it is. Even though the order is from 1 to 2, 2 always comes first because you're declaring the response. And you're letting them know that you are going to activate, depending on the card text. If it's a quick effect, then yes, you're able to chain with its effect, as long as it says a quick effect or during either player's turn. That's something you have to confirm with the opponent, so that you can make the call, and that whenever it says anything that's during either player's turn, quick effect, you have the right to go first once you declare it, because it's going to happen regardless. So. And they can do the same thing, they can chain. But like I said, chains usually work unless they have quick effects, or say during either player's turn. But yeah, he's going to search with Mishra's Rod. It does resolve. It does not prevent him from using his card, from activating its effect. So obviously he's going to add Circle to give him the upper advantage. On top of that, he'll be able to banish one of the cards on my field, but it only applies unless you special or normal special summon Dark Magician. Although that's a very restrictive effect. That's a good thing I banished Dark Magician, so that he has the least amount of seeing them. So I pretty much reduce his odds even further. Not only getting rid of his Soul Servant, as well as Dark Magician and Dark Mystical. Like, I can't really say whether his plans are foiled, but I'm putting him at really low odds. I'm really reducing his odds of trying to retaliate, because those are the key cards that give him the advantage, especially if they're trying to pursue this duel by heavily relying on Dark Magician. That's the card you want to get rid of the most. That's the card you have to worry about, because he is the main monster that pretty much has synergy with these cards as you look at them right now. Eternal Soul, Dark Magical Circle, possibly the field spell. I don't even know how the field spell works, but like I said, I'm not Dark Magician player, so how would I know? Even though I have one in my main deck. So he's going to set one. I let him know it's during the end of main phase 1. I'm going to link off for Nightmare Unicorn, pitching one of my dead cards that I have in hand. And here on out, he admits defeat, because the target I was going to get was Eternal Soul. Once that leaves the field, all monsters on this field are destroyed. So that is basically the downside of Eternal Soul. Although you can constantly summon Dark Magician, if it leaves the field, all monsters the opponent controls leaves the field. So every Dark Magician may be unaffected by the opponent's card effect, but once you get rid of this, you pretty much got rid of your opponent's board, and you have the upper hand, and that's when they'll scoop. But again, hope you, even though it wasn't a long duel, hope you guys enjoyed the duel. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.